This is a very special Willet Purple Top. I don't know how well you saw that, but this is barrel number 18. 18. This thing's got a story to tell, and I'm going to tell you that story. In 2012, the Willet Distillery, after building their new visitor center, fired up their iconic pot still for the first time. Drew Kolstein and his dad got to work. This bottle right here comes from barrel number 18 that came off the still that day. This is a 13-year-old Willet Purple Top, selected by the Ballard Cut. Now, for those of you who are in the Seattle area, you're probably familiar with the Ballard Cut. If you're not from the Seattle area, the owner and proprietor, Tommy Patrick, kind of has a bit of a legendary status in the industry when it comes to being really, really great whiskey bar owner. He's got many, many friends throughout the industry. He does all sorts of barrel picks throughout the years, and his location, the Ballard Cut, has one of the most insane whiskey selections you're ever going to see in Washington State. He was out doing a number of different barrel picks, and when he went to Willet, he got to sample a few barrels. There's kind of a joking running line, and occasionally Drew is even wearing a shirt that says, "Don't ask me for a barrel." While he was there, Drew said, "Hey man, why aren't you asking for a barrel?" I was like, what are you talking? Huh? Right, one of those. Because he knew Tommy's reputation, and Tommy has kind of got a bit of a notoriety. He's got tons of Purple Tops at his bar, amongst many other really hard to find unicorn level whiskeys. They set up a barrel pick. And he did this completely blind, and he went through tasting things, and there was one he kept going back to. He said to Drew, "I think I want this one here." And Drew gave him a smile and said, "I'm glad you picked that one." Tommy asked him why. He said, "Because that one is from day one of when Dad and I fired up the still. That means we were doing something right that day." Now, unfortunately, since then, which is to say since the still was fired up, Drew's father has passed away. So this is kind of a legacy bottle, and as you can probably tell just by the color in the bottle, this thing is very, very dark. This was a special pour. It went to a select number of people. There's a small group of people that were able to get these. It was not cheap. I'm going to be very transparent about this. It was a $600 bottle. I know. Ouch. But I got to try it before I bought it. And I wanted something as a celebration, as I had changed jobs and done some other things. And I wanted something nice that I was going to visit maybe like once a year. And that's this thing. And after I tried it, I said yes. So, for 2 Minute Tuesday, we're going to actually open mine. You can see the foil's missing. I had to remove the foil as a part of purchasing it, but I haven't popped the cork yet. So we're going to pop the cork, get us a pour, and get you the tasting notes. Because maybe if you find an old enough Purple Top from when the still started up, because this is actual Willet juice, not sourced, you might find a gold mine just like this one. Cork pop. Solid. Just opening it, I can smell it. Now, something that I will tell you about this is the low rye mash bill from Willet. So that's the same as like Noah's Mill, Rowan's Creek. This is probably one of the better mash bills that they have, depending on your personal taste profile. But for me, it's the one that's less likely to get kind of some of the grassy notes that say like some of the other younger products get. Willet Pot Still is something a lot of people are very scared of. This is no Willet Pot Still. So with that being said, let's get into the tasting notes of this 13-year Willet Purple Top. Look at how dark this stuff is. This is like freaking motor oil. Viscosity wise, I think you can see that, but it's like barely coming down. I mean, it is just really gripping this glass, but there's lots and lots and lots and lots of little bitty legs barely coming down. So viscosity is very high. This does sit at 129 proof. Let's get in the nose. Good. God, that's good. This reminds me a lot of very, very high-end Michters in that it is a very dark profile. There's molasses, there's a little bit of date, there's this like deep, darker sugar thing going on. There's a lot of wood influence, barely any ethanol despite it being 129 proof. I mean, I can sniff this thing without any issue and it's not burning my nose hairs. Not a lot of like big, bright fruity notes. It's very dark, like some kind of stewed plum. Like I said, a little bit of date going on in there. I can't wait to get this back on my palate because I know how good it is. Cheers. Palate. It's everything like the nose is. Extremely dark, kind of deeper notes. There's lots of wood influence. There is a nice kind of barrel spice coming into the finish, and it gives you a very long Kentucky hug. It's relaxed on the palate. It's not very aggressive. It is this beautiful kind of symphony of flavors. Kind of plummy note is definitely there. but it's very stewed down. It's very reduced. It's almost like a syrup as opposed to chunks of fruit. There's kind of a date thing. There's lots and lots and lots of molasses. This is a really deep, dark pour. It's not the bright fruity things or like the sweeter caramels or some of those things that you might get. There's not really any citrus to it too. It is very much a more like complex wintry dessert. Think like molasses cookies, right? Thing that is sweet, but that profile is much darker and more subdued. It's not as bright as say like milk chocolate. There is kind of a little hint of a chocolatey thing in there, but it's much more that darker chocolate where it's more savory and less like in your face sugary. There's not a confectionery thing going on here. Overall score on this thing, I have to take price into account. This is a very expensive bottle. In that regard, I'm giving this a 91. I mean, this thing's lingering forever. Dude, I can swim in this pour. I'm going to have this pour for probably like 45 minutes and just relax in it and enjoy it. But Tommy, you've picked an absolute monster of a bottle. This is incredible, incredible whiskey, and I look forward to using this as my celebration pour and going to this maybe once or twice a year. This is special. It's really special, and it's kind of cool to know that if you can find the right low rye Willet product, all the hype is worth it. I can see why people will go and spend hundreds of dollars on Purple Tops having tasted this. There's other ones I've tasted that are like very grassy, and I don't think they're that great, and they're like $400 or $500 bottles. But the thing is, for me, what this reminds me of the most, Michter's 20. I've had Michter's 20 once, and all the hallmarks of the things that I loved about my Michter's 20 pour are in this. So if I think about it, this is a little younger at 13 years. It was $600. Michter's 20 is 20 years. It's like $2,500 after taxes or some nonsensical thing like that. This is kind of like Baby Michter's 20. And in that regard, if I think that like 4 of these is a Michter's 20, and I would argue that this is about 75% of the flavor I get out of Michter's 20, that's an experience, and that is something that makes this incredible and why I spent the money on it. If you're a Willet Purple Top fan, I want to hear in the comments down below. What's the best Purple Top you've had that isn't the crazy, expensive, ridiculous, like 19-year source nonsense? Actual Willet distillate. What was it like? Was it low rye? Was it a high rye? Was it older? Maybe it was a little younger. Let me know in the comments down below. If you've never had a Purple Top, you think they're too expensive and you'll never go after one, I totally understand. But let me know in the comments down below. Based on my notes, what's the bourbon that kind of hits that profile for you? If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you're like, Bentley, but I can't find this thing. Well, if you ever come to Seattle, go to the Ballard Cut, because he has some of these for pours. And this is one of those things that I would say, I would rather have a pour of this than a pour of BTAC. Yeah, I'm serious. I'd rather have a pour of this absolutely monster Willet Purple Top than a BTAC. So if you're in the Seattle area, stop by the Ballard Cut, try it. Let me know what you think. As always, my friends, thank you so much for watching, and stay awesome. I'm gonna drink this.